You're listening to Airey Bros Radio. Be there or be square, because it's all killer, no filler.
And he's like, okay, just go with me. I got this. This is what he tells me, right? Just love like stealing shit from 7-Eleven. What have I done with my life? So it's just always ups and downs and ups and downs. So just so punchable. He just has the most punchable face, like drank a bunch of Red Bull vodka in Vegas and got arrested again with the casino security. So I put myself on Red Bull vodka probation. Snuck into the Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Vegas, so I didn't know where they took my mom. I opened up my hotel room, just dying to fuck this scrub and waiting to fuck, and then my mom is in the room passed out in the other bed. It seems like you like everything on Facebook. I go, yeah, because it's free, and most of the time people are putting stuff that's cool, so it costs me nothing, just hit the like. And then she's like, you don't know how to cook? It's like, that means you don't know how to read. This is Brandt Tobler, and you listen to Airey Bros Radio.
Did you wear your denim suit?
I did. I wore the denim suit. I opened up in the denim suit and told the story about Josh Jackson fucking my girlfriend, since he's a Canadian, and I called it my Canadian tuxedo. So I went denim suit with the Justin Bieber shirt, and then I have these three like fleece North Face suits that are awesome, but they're so hot. And so I went denim suit, then three North Faces, and then just what I call my court suit. the black suit whenever I have to go to court or a wedding.
Right on.
So it turned out pretty cool, but yeah.
And when's that coming out? This week or next week?
We're editing it, so hopefully within the next 2 weeks here, try to get it out and going.
Okay.
So was that 5 different shows, or did you just get off stage and change?
I did it one show, which was kind of bad for the actual show, because it kind of, a show needs momentum, and it definitely kind of messed up the momentum. I'd do a story, then I'd run off stage, and the host would come back out and do a little time, and then I'd give him the signal I'm ready, then he'd bring me back out. And then one time I just changed right on stage, which was kind of funny. I might leave that in, but it was honestly, I think it'll come out good for YouTube, but for the people that were there, it probably wasn't the best show I've ever done, just because of but it was all my friends and fans and family were there, so they understood I explained to them I was trying to do something, so they understood that we were trying to do something. But if you were just a casual person in the audience, you'd be like, this had no rhythm to it. Like, I think most good shows have like a rhythm, and that one was all over the place.
Interesting you say that, Brent, that just random people that take in comedy shows. Jimmy and I think we first kind of got a sign of that when we went to see Airey at the Helium in Philly, when we were on our hands and knees looking for the edibles that he taped to one of the chairs, and people just were walking in like date nights and stuff. Do you get that a lot at the Comedy Works, where people aren't fans?
I mean, I'm not big enough to like sell it out. I mean, I've sold out the last couple, but just on an off night, it's just a lot of date nights. And then that's the thing. That's why they never know. We always make this dumb comparison to like music. Like, if you like clean comedy or you like dirty comedy, but if you like, let's say you like heavy metal or like country music, you like research who you're going to see. Where these people just come to shows and they're just like, I want clean comedy. Why isn't this guy doing clean comedy? It's like, my name was on the marquee. It takes 20 seconds to Google whoever the act is. So that's when you have a problem, is just like, sometimes people come in and then they just want stuff catered to them, like it's their own private show. Or, like if you don't know Airey and you're going in, Ari's probably going to offend you. And then you're like, but it's like, it's Airey. You should have known that. It's, so that's like the frustrating part. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good date night thing. So most of the time people have come in with good spirits, but it just takes one couple to ruin the whole night by complaining.
Yeah.
Is this the first show you've done, or not first show, but first special you've done since COVID?
Yeah. So yeah, it was, it's the first one. So, and luckily we're kind of back to normal now. The crowds are back to good, and the masks were so bad to look at just from a stand-up point, because you like to see people laughing in their reaction. So I hated performing when everyone was masked up. So, and there's still a few people in the crowd that still wear masks, where some comics just talk shit to them, but I talk a little shit, but not like personally right at him. But it's just annoying. I was like, you do the jokes to see people laugh and smile. So when they have masks over, and it just muffles the laughter if you are making them laugh. So that part's annoying. But yeah, this is like it was a lot of, well, these are a lot of stories. I just want to do something with these stories because I don't get to tell them that much because they're so long. Each story is about 10 minutes, so I don't get to do them that much. So I just kind of want to get them and put them out there. I mean, I think I like my Malfia story the best, and I think the machine story is the best story ever, probably, and then like tater salad's probably number two, but I feel like my Malfia story might be number three. So seeing, and I'm so happy for Bert because he's doing so good, but I'm also like, motherfucker, Bert has $50 million and I make $50 a show. I would like to shorten that gap a little bit with one of these stories. So
Yeah, as Jersey people, we love the Malfia story.
yeah, thank you. I'm excited for people to see it. I'm hoping it'll get a little heat maybe, and maybe help me sell some tickets.
Did you come out to the Sopranos theme song for that story?
Oh, I should have though. That's funny. That's funny. I don't know how all that's a really good idea, but I don't know how all that shit works. That'd be some copyright thing, and then I'd work so hard to get it on YouTube, and then they'd take it right down probably. So, but that, you know what? If I'm ever gonna tell it on stage again, I will come out to that. That's a really good idea.
I think you're underselling the Vegas one where you jumped on the table or you
Oh, the roulette one? Yeah, that one's
yeah,
good too. I mean, I think they're all good. I mean, I did that one, and then the
Vandy.
porn star one, and then the Josh Jackson one, and then I have a new one no one's seen about my brother being retarded, so it might catch a little heat because I use the word retarded, but it's just part of the story. People are like, "Why do you shouldn't say that?" I go, "That's what happened. I can't change the story. It's like a crucial part to the story, so I'm sorry if you get offended, but." It's just how that's how people sometimes like, well, you shouldn't say that. I was like, well, that's how it happened. I can't, that's the good part of the story. I'm sorry if words like trigger you, but when you see the story, I don't want to give away the story, but you'll understand, oh, if you take that word out, the story's useless.
And at the end of the day, if your brother's not offended, who gives a fuck?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's his fault, he's retarded. So he did something retarded, and then I tried to help him. And so my reward for him being retarded is I get to tell the world how dumb he was this day. So we'll see. I don't know. He'll get over it. I love him. I love him to death, but he just makes some questionable choices sometimes. And same with my mom. My mom's currently on like 9-month show probation because the last time I had her come to a show, she got super drunk and my friends had to carry her out and she was crying and stuff. So I was like, Mom, you don't get to
You
come to
put her on show probation.
Yeah, you're on 9-month show probation. You don't get to come to a show until you think about what you did. And like I do a lot of probation. I'm currently on a year of Red Bull vodka probation because I drank a bunch of Red Bull vodka in Vegas and got arrested again with the casino security. So I put myself on Red Bull vodka probation.
Do you have a crab feast story about that, or did you just become a sloppy drunk and they arrested you?
Oh no, I have a story which I'm gonna probably do on. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna hopefully do the honeydew soon. I've talked to Ryan a little bit, and then I might tell that one. I have a bunch of stuff that I've been saving for the honeydew about how I was engaged and how that all fell apart. So I'm hoping to maybe shoot something with Ryan in October, and then because I've been sitting on this whole breakup story, kind of saving it for the honeydew because it's a honeydew story for sure. But I could tell that one actually. It's embarrassing. I mean, I'll give you just a little piece of it. Is I went there with my favorite band, let me go with them on the tour bus and took me to Vegas. And I was staying in this huge suite with like the lead singer, and then his girlfriend is the fiddle player. So they had like a 3 different room suite, and I was staying in one, and then I got in a fight in the poker room, and then I got arrested, and then I was supposed to stay with them because they were playing 4 nights at this South Point, and then And then I name dropped them. They tried to kick me out. They go, you're drunk, and they said I punched this poker dealer, which I didn't. But then they said you're too drunk. I was like, how do you think I got this drunk? I was hanging out with the owner, because I was hanging out with the owner of the South Point the whole night. And then I'm like, I'm here with the band. And then and then when they gave me the ticket, the police gave me the ticket. I crumpled it up and I threw it at the security guard that caused all the problems. So then I got kicked out. I woke up the next morning, and then the leader of the band's like, "Hey, we're going to breakfast." I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna keep sleeping. Just a heads up, I got arrested at like 7." And he laughed. And then later that day, when he came back from breakfast, he's like, they called and said you're 86th. Or no, they said I just had to leave the hotel. So then I was gonna come back that night to the concert, and then they were like, "Oh no, you can't go to South Point ever again in your life."
All
So
from Red Bull
I
vodka?
went out there to watch him play, and I didn't get to go to any of the shows. So I was so embarrassed to embarrass my friends like that I put myself on Red Bull vodka probation. And then I didn't go see him, because I usually try to see him like once a month, and I put myself on 3-month show probation, mainly because I was just so embarrassed at what I did, because I'm a fucking idiot. And my lawyer is my best friend's little brother, and he's 30 and I'm 45. So then I get arrested, and then I call him and I say, "Hey, I got arrested last night. I need you to take care of this." And he's like, "What did you do?" Or he's like, "What are you arrested for?" I was like, "I don't know," because I threw the ticket at him. And then he like gave me a lecture, which is weird to get lectured by a fucking kid that I've known since he was 5 years old. I go on family vacations with him. I've known him since I was 6 years old. And he's like, "Grant, what are you?" So he gave me a big lecture, and then so I got to be on my best behavior from now on. I'm on probation, and I don't know if I'm still kicked out of South Point, but I think I might be. I don't know. We'll see. They're trying to get it fixed. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron.
Are you still on the White Claws, or what do you
I was, but I just say fuck it now. I just drink.
like? Give me the gout. I don't care.
I'm not worried about the gout. I just shit a lot. So I mean, I shit my pants about probably once every 2 months, which again is embarrassing for a 45-year-old man to admit. But I just want to live my life, like I just like it's just annoying it only hurts me. It doesn't really physically hurt me. I just have to shit. So it's like embarrassing now dating, because when I go out on a date, I want to be like a man. I don't want to be like a wuss on a date and tell them like I need gluten-free bread and I can't have White Claw. So I just eat and drink whatever I want. But then when I go to the bathroom, then I'll have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the date, and I'll have to go shit for like 20 minutes. And then the girls are always like, "Are you on drugs? You in there doing drugs? Or do you have a wife? Did you go call your girlfriend or something?" So it just looks bad. But it has benefited me like a couple times, because I'm in there taking a shit. And I'm like old school, so I'll always pay for the meals, even though I don't really have a lot of money. And a couple times, the waiters or the waitresses came back so many times that the girl I was on a date with just eventually paid, because they didn't know if I was coming back or not. I don't know why anyone would date me.
Well, I mean, we could set you up with a little date probiotic, charcoal, and gluten
Enzyme.
enzymes, so that you can at least maybe not have to shit mid-date.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't. I mean, that's probably be good for me, but I don't really care. Like if the gout flared up, I would have to stop. I don't mind shitting. I actually like enjoy it. It like feels like I'm cleaning out my body. But the gout's under control. I just take a pill every day. But if the gout ever, that's what would make me change my diet, because the gout actually just hurts so much. I mean, it's just like gout, having a toothache or a gout is the two worst. And I've had a lot of bad stuff happen, but those two things hurt so much. Because you guys are healthy. I forgot you guys eat like super clean and healthy, right?
Yeah.
I too, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. I wish I could, but I just like food so much. And I just, I mean, I could change. I'm just going to sit here and make a lot of excuses. If I really wanted to change, I could. But in my defense, like I, when I'm on the road and stuff, I mean, I end up eating at like midnight or like in the clubs, and I would have to do more like meal prep and stuff like that. And I don't cook. I mean, I have an air fryer now, so I cook a little bit, but I don't know how to cook, which is another embarrassing thing to say. Because one time I was trying to be like cute with this girl, and she was like, what do you make?" I was like, "I don't really like cook." And then she's like, "You don't know how to cook?" It's like, "That means you don't know how to read." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess cooking is just reading a recipe and doing what it says." So I thought I was being like cool guy that just doesn't cook, and she's like, "You're retarded." And that was the end of those dates.
So I want to go back to a couple things. I do want to
Yeah.
touch on you being newly single. That said, I want to go back to two other prior topics you brought up. When your
Uh-huh.
mom got hammered, did you roast her? Did you do crowd work on her?
No, I was so mad at her because she's like, so I was doing a big show in my hometown, and then she's an idiot. She doesn't understand. So I had lunch with her. It was my birthday, and it was her and her best friend and my stepdad. And then they're like, "Hey, can we bring like this jalapeno tequila to the show tonight?" I was like, "Of course, I'm doing this big, beautiful theater, sold out show." So I thought she'd be like a regular person. Like, if you guys came, you would just bring it in a bottle and we would cheers and have a shot before the like adults backstage. My mom and her friend fucking have a water bottle full of tequila, like they're sneaking in, like they're sophomores in high school to my show. I have a green room, I have everything's free. I was like, "Why are you sneaking in alcohol? Everything's, you can have whatever you want. This is my show. I have a green room, I have everything." So then she got drunk. So I put her up. It's this big, beautiful old theater. I put her on the third level where she could like see down, but I didn't have to fucking deal with her. And then, of course, like she comes down and she's sitting side stage, and I can just tell she's like wasted. And I'm like, I got to do the show. And then I'm supposed to do the meet and greet after. And then I'm doing the meet and greet, and then they come and get me. They're like, "Hey, your mom's crying. She can't walk. She fell down the stairs. She thinks she hurt her knee." So all these people are waiting in the meet and greet, and they have to carry my mom. My two big buddies like put her on his shoulders and carry her out the side because there's only one way out of the theater. I'm just like, "Oh my god, mom." So I didn't roast. I roasted her the next day in my living room. We sat down and we had a long talk. I was like, "You, what are you doing? What the fuck just happened?" So it wasn't a funny roast at all. I had to really kind of yell at her and be like, "What are you doing? You can't embarrass me like this at my show." So it was a little rough. She feels bad about it, but I mean, it's the second time it's happened though, because another time she came to my show in Cheyenne. I bought tickets for her and my brother, and they missed their flights, and then they got super weight. I decided to buy them another set of tickets. Then they got wasted on their layover, and I was on stage. I just saw my mom coming down the aisle, the center aisle of this theater. It's like in Hoosiers when the drunk dad comes on the basketball court. And have you ever seen Hoosiers? And I was like, on stage, I was like, "Nope, get her out." And I kicked her out of my show from the stage. And then I was like starting to hook up with this girl I really wanted to hook up with. And then that night, everything was going good. And then I took her back to my hotel room, and we're like making out in the hallway. It's about to be on. And then I opened my hotel room. I didn't know where they took my mom. I opened up my hotel room, just dying to fuck this girl and waiting to fuck. And then my mom is in the room, passed out in the other bed. And then I still fucked the girl, which is crazy, which was hard the first time, but it was like a tennis match of me just looking over, making sure. It was easier the second time in the morning, but that's the first time she got suspended from from shows. That was her first probation. I love her, but she just I just come from alcoholics, man. They just don't know how to act. And they get, in their defense, they get so excited for big days, but they just get too drunk. But I love them. I love my mom and my brother.
So you bring up having to lecture her. It's kind of like your 30-year-old lawyer having
Yeah,
to give you the
exactly.
talk. But You brought up your favorite band, but I noticed you didn't mention their name. Would it happen to be a band from Wyoming that you may have mentioned on this podcast
Oh yeah,
before?
I mean, I'll mention it's Chancey Williams. It's my favorite band, and they're my friends, and they're just good dudes. So yeah, I should give them a shout out. But yeah, they're great country. They're just really good country singer. He's a really good country singer in the band. They're just great guys and people that are just working hard. So that was another thing. Just they do everything right. So to embarrass them like that was like, and they weren't mad at me. They know I'm an idiot, but still, it's like it was just like kind of it's just like what my mom did. Like my mom was representing me that night, and then she embarrassed me. So then for me to get arrested in like their band t-shirt and their band suite, name dropping them the whole time, I was like, God, I'm such a douche.
I I knew it was Chancey, and
Yeah.
I listened to them because of you. And the other one I had for you is, now that you're newly single, are we finally getting the book?
Yeah. So yeah, it's coming. It's so there. I'm just trying to get it edited. So yeah, it's coming, and it's good. It's got some wild stories. If you don't, it's a book called "You Couldn't and You Wouldn't," and it's 10 girls I fucked that most dudes couldn't, and then 10 girls I fucked that most dudes wouldn't. So there's some good stuff in there. So yeah, hopefully, maybe I don't know, because it's out of my hands now. It's all the editing. So, but these editors, I'm not the, I mess up. I write the stories and live the stories, but just like like punctuation and all that shit, they have to fix all that. So, and it's all my friends helping me do it because I just self do everything. So I can't yell at them for not working at the speed I want because they're all just doing me favors to try to help.
You got another little bit of newness coming out. I saw you have your Diary of a Piece of Shit podcast. Your first
Yeah.
episode was with Airey. You put out your second episode last week. What was the onus for that? Obviously, with the way this podcast has gone so far, we've kind of got a
Yeah.
reasonings behind it.
I think it just, well, you know what, someone told me that should be the title of my first book, and I just always liked that title. And then I just wanted to kind of rebrand because I did the 31, but I had pretty much every comic on the 31. So well, and then this diary piece of shit is like another thing that I've been working on. I have all these stories that was gonna either maybe be another book, or I don't know what I'm gonna do with, but I have like 60 stories now that are done, but a lot of them are mine, and then some of them are my friends, but they're like great stories, but people don't want to attach their name to them because they don't want to get in trouble. So, like all my regular friends that aren't comedians, most of them have like one great story, but a lot of, I'm 45, so a lot of these great stories happened 20 years ago when the climate was different. So they're still really funny stories, but no one who has like a real job wants their name attached to it. So I don't know. I've just been messing with this title, and I just think it's kind of a catchy title. And then, and to have Ari as the first guest is perfect because he's self-proclaimed piece of shit. Even though I think he's like the nicest, I think he's one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Especially in this business, he's like, I mean, he didn't need to do that podcast. He just is like he's just a good dude. As much as people talk shit. I mean, he's done some crazy shit, but he's just a really good dude. So it just kind of fits. So yeah, we're going with that for now, and then we're gonna bring back Craigslist Chaos probably next week, and try to ramp this and get in a podcast studio and just try to really ramp these podcasts up, because I think the game's kind of changed. It's just clips and podcast and a lot of podcast clips. So, and I'm fortunate enough here in Denver to have, with Comedy Works, have some of the best comedians in the world come through town. So we're gonna crank it back up. I'm opening for Christina Brzezinski tonight. I don't think she'll do it, but I'm gonna ask her if she wants to podcast tomorrow. So we'll see. Because I just opened for Segura, which was incredible, and I bet he would have done it if we were up in Aspen. But he's just such a good. He's like already just such a. I mean, I've known most of these guys. I've known Tom for 13 years. I used to do shows with Tom in front of like 13 people, and now he does the Nuggets, where the Nuggets play here, like 17,000. So it's cool to see these guys blow up, but I think it's all podcasts. So, I mean, you guys know how it is. You guys have this podcast. You guys got famous.
Yeah.
We're not on the level of Brandt Tobler. Did you play the Bell Center?
No. We
Oh.
did. He did a show. I got to do 3 shows with him in the last month. I did one at Comedy Works, just like a Monday, and then he was working on new material in Aspen. So I was doing like shitty ass shows in Laughlin, Nevada, trying not to kill myself. And then it's weird how the comedy gods work. And then I just got a message like, "Hey, you want to open up for me at the Belly Up in Aspen?" And the Belly Up's just like this cool ass little venue that like all the biggest bands in the world have played. And I think I was the 5th comic to do it. I think I was 5 and he was 6, so I got to open for him, which was like just a different level of fame. I mean, he doesn't act famous. He had nobody with him, no team. It was just me and him, but we couldn't walk like 10 feet. And then everywhere we went, it's so weird. Like, I'm just a broke comic trying to survive, and he has probably $50 million. But once you have that much money, and everything's free everywhere we went. Like, we sat down to this nice restaurant, and then the GM would like to bring us out. The manager would like to bring us out. The dishwasher would like for some oysters. The valet would like, here's some steamed clams. And before we could even order, they just brought us all the nicest shit just because we came in there. It was wild. So cool.
What's that like going back to broke comic life a day after being the
Oh,
VIP
it
talk of the
sucked.
town?
Dude, it sucked because it really did. Because I was so excited to do the shows with Tom. Because another thing, like I met these young kids, these like mid-30s, probably own this Belly Up, and I met one of them one time at a bar at the Four Seasons bar here, and I asked him, I was like, "You ever do comedy?" And he's like, "No, we like have the biggest bands in the like." He just kind of he wasn't mean about it, but he kind of brushed me off, like no, which I totally get. So to get to do that, and then so then I knew I was going to do it, and then I told everybody in my life, like, so I was so excited, and then when I get there, he put me in this suite at the W, probably like a $1,500 a night suite. I got to be like a rock star. So then to go home on the drive back to Denver, and then I think the next night I had like a bar show for like $50. And I was just sitting there by myself going, man, this sucks. Just getting that little taste of like, I imagine it's like with heroin or something. It's like I just had the rush of it. I just was so happy getting to do it with them. And then to go back to regular life is like, dang it, man, that would be so cool. I mean, it was wild, man. That Andrew Huberman dude came to dinner. We're sitting in the middle of dinner. It's me, Segura, Huberman, and like all these rich Aspen people, the owners of this incredible restaurant. And then I look up and this dude's just like flipping off these 2 kids that own it. And I'm like, why is this guy? And then I was like, is that Lance Armstrong? And they're like, oh yeah, that's our friend. I was like, what is happening? What kind of dinner is this? That Lance Armstrong just stopping by to fucking double bird these young ass dudes that with their dad own like the best restaurant in Aspen. It was just the whole thing was just sick. But yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster ride. But I mean, that's what comedy is. I mean, like I said, though, like I got the when I was like I was in Laughlin. It's like 118. No one's come to the shows. It's too hot to even really go do anything. I'm just like, what have I done with my life? So it's just always ups and downs and ups and downs. So, but man, that was a good up. So, but then tonight will be a good up. Opening Christina's sold out, so it'll be another great show and to see her. And then tomorrow will be back to shit.
Is that a downtown location?
No, it's the South.
South.
What
You
do
go
you
back and
prefer?
forth. Yeah,
I
that's
prefer downtown by far. I think downtown's like the best. And she's downtown the next 3 nights, so I just got this first night, so it'll be good. I mean, South's okay, but to me, the downtown's like it's my favorite place in the world.
Have you
Is
been
that
to
what?
the mothership? Have you
No,
been
I
to
haven't been to the mothership. Like I did. That's the thing. I've done Tom and Chris. I've done their podcast. People, I was like, you should do your mom's house. I was like, I've done it 3 times. It was just before they're famous, so I didn't have the balls to ask Tom. But now working with Christina and I might just put it out there like, hey, can I come down and do because if I got to go tell my stories on your mom's house, it would change my career in one 90-minute interview. I think would change my life. But these guys know what they have. Like obviously the goal is to get on Rogan, and I would do so good on Rogan, but it's up to Rogan, like even I don't like Tom and Bert, I've heard them talk about like they don't even suggest something, you just got to get on Rogan's radar and then he'll change your life. Like, I mean, he Sam Talent, who's great, and then Sam Talent did Rogan, and now he's in Australia. Or every time I look at his Instagram, he's in Paris or something with his wife and his we got to take his boys on the road. So I'm gonna really push for this because I think if I do Your Mom's House and then clip that up, that'll eventually get, because there's like 6 main podcasts and they kind of just rotate. If somehow you get in that circle, I mean, Joe's the kingmaker. He has made all these guys. I mean, some of these guys are like open micers. He's made into celebrities. It's wild. So we'll see. But yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting tonight. Maybe I can convince Christine and Tom to let me come to Austin. I'll maybe do a set at the mothership, and then more importantly, if I could just do their podcast one time, I think it would be pretty cool.
You just need to show up, go down there.
I know. Trust me, I'm thinking about it. I've got a plan. I got a whole plan worked out. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'll drive down. I would tell them I'd walk down there if they wanted me to. If they wanted the content of just knowing that. I just know if I get on there and I tell all my stories, it's like when I first got on the Crab Feast, those guys didn't know me, and I just loved the Crab Feast. And then I just reached out and was like, hey, if you ever have like a cancellation last minute, I'll be there no matter what. And then obviously the first time I did it, then it was a wrap. That's how I think, I've done Bertcast, I've done all these big podcasts, and what sucks is people put them on the flyers for the shows, and then people will come to the shows and be like, wait, you were on? That's like my favorite podcast. I was like, yeah, I was on there before when Bert was still wearing a shirt. Well, I don't know about that, but it was still.
Have you ever done Kill Tony?
No, I've never done. I always didn't like Tony when I lived in. I don't know Tony enough to say that, but he's just. I think, he's created something awesome, and I think it's hard for me to say he's humble now, but he was here, and the staff and everybody said he was cool. So, but when I was in LA, he was just like, he just was like, just so punchable. He just has the most punchable face, like he just wasn't.
That.
He could just he just was like, and our paths never crossed or anything. So I don't know him, but I would, if I see him now, I think, first of all, I think it would just be different because I'd give him more. Maybe it was my own insecurities and stuff. We were probably just two insecure LA guys trying to come up. And I think we were kind of trying to fuck the same chicks and stuff and just all kinds of nonsense. But I will definitely, just the fact that he was so good to our staff here last time he was here has kind of made me change. Would definitely give him not give him another chance. He didn't give a fuck about me. But no, to answer your question, no. I've never done Kill Tony. And I don't know if I would. I don't know. It would be hard for me to do it because of my ego, just because I feel like that's more of like I don't do 1 minute of comedy ever. So
I was meaning like as a
panel. No. I wish that would be cool, but yeah, I don't know him well enough like that. So, but no, he's made something special, and I think I've always said he's a good writer. I think he's a really funny dude, but I just don't know him like that. And again, I think I was probably just being a little whiny bitch back in the LA days, and he was just a different Tony, I think.
Honestly, dude, not to blow you because you're on the podcast, but keep on your grind because it's only a matter of time, dude. The Crab Feast, they have had some of the funniest dudes on there, some really big names, and you are top 3 Crab Feast. You are chicken noodle soup for the soul for the Airey bros. When we're not having a good day, hey, listen to a Brandt episode. And we are always like, hey, I'm listening to Brandt. And it's always a way for me to bring myself back. It's just a matter of time, dude. Just keep on it.
That's so awesome that you say that, man. I appreciate that's awesome, man. The Crab Feast fans and everybody from that has been the best. It'll always be my favorite podcast. Again, I was a fan before, so then to get to do it, it'll be like, it'll always, I think eventually I get to do Rogan. Rogan is just a different thing of change your life, like financially, but to get to do that first feast will probably always be the best podcast I've ever done, just because I just wanted it for different. I wanted it as a fan, and I'm a fan of Rogan. I listen to every episode, but you can't do that without thinking about finance. You can't just think about you're in front of 12 million people or whatever. But those feast ones, I mean, when the first time they told me I could come do it, I was like, oh, and then just being fans of those two, watching them react because they didn't know what was coming. It was like, that was so cool. So, but no, it's so cool that you say that. I appreciate it, man. Those were, they'll always be my favorite. I mean, I hate that they broke up, and they're doing good, but that podcast will always be my favorite.
Yeah, you definitely say you're on the Airey Bros Crab Feast Mount Rushmore for sure. And I sent Jimmy an episode maybe a week or two, maybe like a month ago. Whenever we like share podcasts or music, it's always from like a time in our past or whatever. And we always hashtag it like never forget. And I sent it to him, and he responded back, "Is this the Enterprise car rental?" He knew just the number of the episode. He knew what stories were on it, and
Forgot about that one.
Well, the funny thing was he vibed me because I'm living down here in Orlando now, right outside of Orlando. I just moved down here after graduation, and I'm still need to get employment. And I was thinking I swear to you, Brant, at that like 5 seconds before he says it to me, I was like, oh, maybe I should apply to some rental car places. There's a bunch. And then he sent it to me, and I was like, oh my God, it's a sign.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, do it, man. I think you can make a lot of money if you do it right.
So you bring up the crab feast, and the last time we were on here, the world was shut down, so there was no getting into games or anything. And when the Nuggets were in the playoffs, you were somewhere else at a game. Has there been any new laminate stories? Anything going
No,
on?
I snuck into the game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Vegas. So I couldn't go to Nuggets, but I was in Vegas. So I was there for shows, and then the shows were dead because of it was like the biggest game. It was the night they were clinching. So I told the comedy club, I go, hey, I'm gonna sneak into this game. So if I get in, I'm not going to do the show. And they were cool with it because they knew no one was going to go, because everyone in Vegas was watching the Stanley Cup Finals that night, because they knew if they won, it was over. So they were like, okay, whatever. So then so Brad Garrett, he's a huge Knights fan. And I text him, I go, hey man, go Knights go. I said, I'm gonna sneak in. I'll see you in there. And he wrote back, he's like, man, you'll never sneak in. This is like the hardest game. You'll never get in, but enjoy the game wherever you watch it or something. So then I was like, oh, now I have to fucking sneak in. So then I went to dinner with my best friend and my lawyer and his parents, and then their sister. So we go to dinner, and I felt like weird about it because my best friend's dad's like a big time lawyer, just a super successful, just super classy dude that's not into like sneaking into shit because he doesn't have to. He's just he's just like a great monster lawyer, right? So I get to dinner, and he's like, you got a ticket? And tickets were like 1,500, cheapest ticket to get in. And I'm making like 1,200 to do the week in Vegas. So I'm like, no, I don't have a ticket. I'm gonna sneak in. And he's like, okay, just go with me. I got this. This is what he tells me, right? And I'm like, okay, whatever. He doesn't sneak into shit. He's rich. What's he talking about? But I still, just out of respect for him, I was like, I'll get up there and then maybe whatever will happen. And then we're walking over, and he was like, all right, just follow me. I got this. And I'm like, okay, whatever, right? And then it kind of sucks because the story's not even that good, but he walked up. So then there was an usher there, and then he had the tickets on his phone. So he had one for his daughter, and then he had four for him, his wife, and his two boys. So he walks up and he goes, okay, we got 5. And then he goes 1, 2, and he just pushes us through each one with just like fucking incredible lawyer confidence. And then when he counts us in 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he just 5 is actually his wife. He goes, 5's his wife. And then he says thank you to the usher and just keeps walking. So we get in, and then we're right past the usher, and we just look at each other like, fuck, we did it. And we're starting to celebrate because we couldn't believe how easy it was and how easy he did it. And then he's like, keep going. And we're like, oh fuck yeah, sorry. So then we walk up the escalator. So we get on the escalator, and then I immediately take a picture inside and I send it to Brad Garrett. And I was just like, too easy, bro. And he's like, what? How in the world did you do it? Where are you at? I go, where are you at? And he goes, I'm not even in yet. I go, I'm in. I'm already in. So then he came. When he got in, I went and met him, and he's like, gave me a big hug. He's like, you're fucking unbelievable. Let me buy you. Bought me some drinks, and we took a picture, and he's like, I can't believe you did it. And then it was just a crazy night. And then I'm in, and so when I lived in Vegas, I was in love with this girl, and we broke up, and I left to LA. Well, this is a funny story, kind of.
Just
I
the
went
girl
to
with the
LA.
dad that's a dentist?
No, the other one, the very rich girl that I was like, the one girl I was so. This is a weird story, but my best friend's little sister, it's her best friend. So one day I'm sitting at his house, and this girl comes in, this tall blonde girl, just beautiful, has so much confidence, and she just comes in and just takes over the room. And I'm just mesmerized by her, right? And I tell my best friend when she leaves, I go, dude, I'm gonna marry that girl one day. He's like, Brad, she's in high school. And I was like, well, I didn't mean like soon. I mean, like in a someday, because she was a senior in high school, but she was just built like she was just like a woman, you know? So then years later, we start dating, and I just loved her. I was so in love with her, and I messed it all up, and like, and then I was gonna move to LA, and then she was like, I was gonna move to LA to be a TV star, you know, or whatever. And she was like, and we broke up. I don't even really know why we broke up. It still haunts me forever. But then I was going to LA to be a TV star, and she's like, I'll never forget. She's like, just come back and get me when you're ready, blah blah blah. Well, I didn't come back in time, and while I'm out there trying to be a TV star, then one day my phone just starts blowing up, and they're like, "Did you see Allie on TV?" And I was like, "What? Allie's on TV?" And she was on the worst TV show possible. To think about, what's the worst show your ex you could see your ex on TV?
Big
Do you have a
Brother.
guess? Big
Big
Brother.
Brother.
Big Brother would be bad. Any more guesses?
Price is
Most
Right.
people- no, way worse. Say Yes to the Dress, where she picks out her wedding dress with her new fucking professional hockey boyfriend from Switzerland. So anyway, I'd never forgot about that girl. I've always been in love with her. And then out of nowhere, we're standing there, and I see her coming over with this fucking holding a baby. And I was like, oh my God, it's Allie. And I was so nervous. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what's up? So then I spend the third period hanging out with her, watching the Knights win the Stanley Cup. Then we go across the street to this bar. Everyone parties for the whole night. And then at the end of the night, it's just me and Allie sitting in this restaurant. It's like a Cheers episode or something. And the lights are coming down, and guys are like sweeping up, and it's just me and her sitting there talking for like 2 hours. It was like the craziest fucking night of my life. And I was just like, this is because she's divorced now, and I don't know, nothing. She's technically single. I'm single. It wasn't nothing. There wasn't the like kiss or anything. That I don't know. Maybe I should have went for it, but it was like just this incredible night of. I was sitting there looking at this girl that I was always in love with and may always be in love with, and just sitting there talking to her like, this is fucking crazy, man. It was like Sam and Diane just sitting there with Cheers closing up. It was a magical night. So yeah, it was cool. And of course the game was great. They dominated, and the place was just rocking. And again, I didn't have to pay where everybody else had to pay, so it was pretty sweet. So yeah, that's the only thing I snuck in lately. Nothing else. I was gonna sneak in the Bronco game on Sunday, but I was too lazy. It's almost too easy now with the phones,
Yeah.
because you know, in the old days there was no, you either had a ticket or you don't. With these phones, a lot of times when you get to a busy ass game, the Wi-Fi is shitty anyway, and you're just like, so a lot of times I could just sit there and fumble with my phone and be like, it's right here, right here, and they're just like, man, just go in. You look like you're a grown ass white dude who I assume have a ticket. They don't realize what a degenerate I am. If I was like 16 or something, like, okay, we get it. But they're like, this dude's got a fucking gray beard. He's not sneaking in. He's a grown up with that. I'm actually sneaking in.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Brant, because I saw Willie Nelson last night, and then a
Nice.
couple weeks ago I saw Rufus Du Sol, and I was just blown away by the lack of security or checking for, contraband, if you will.
Yeah.
I as I'm older, I don't want to have any getting arrested stories or anything like that, so I play it safe usually, but you get through, and I'm like, that's it. I'm like, God
Yeah.
dang it.
It's almost that's why people are like, why do you do it? I was like, I kind of like the gamesmanship of it and like the cat and mouse, but now it's like it's pretty, like the sneaking into that game. People are like, how'd you do it? I had the lamb and all that. I didn't even need it. It was so weird. I mean, it's what everyone says, just be confident, act like you know what you're doing. But he just had that rich white guy power, and he just literally just walked us through. And I was like, this is like one of the cooler things I've snuck into. But it was also, I was like, damn, this story is kind of, at least there was like the Brad Garrett part and stuff to it. But the actual sneaking in, like, it was the lamest. I mean, that was just, I'm happy about it, but it was the easiest shit in the world.
You're like, fuck, what am I gonna do with these bags of ice now?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because I thought I was gonna have to go deep in the well because everybody was like, this is the hardest ticket. But honestly, even when I got up there, it's like, again, you're just dealing with somebody, they hate their jobs. And like, I mean, ideally, I would just find someone who works at like one of the arenas here and just make it like a side hustle and just say, hey, just walk up. Because one time I did that in New Mexico. We went to a basketball game and they gave us like a baseball ticket. And they were like, just go to this exact door, the third door over. There'll be like a dude with blonde hair. Go to that guy and hand him this ticket. And you have to just believe in the process. But then, of course, it worked. But I mean, part of me was like, I should have just got a job at like this Broncos stadium, and then even just for like the summer months, and then I could have brought in 50 people for Taylor Swift at probably like $400 a pop, and just walk and make fucking $20,000 just on that night, and it'd be no one would know shit. But I didn't do it. I wish I would have now that I say that because it would have been a great story too. Because I could have,
Right.
I mean, tickets were going for so much. I could have said, just Venmo me 400 and and come to this gate and when you walk out, have your phone out and I'll just go boop and you're in.
There's always next summer, Brent.
Yeah, you know what? I should do that. Or if anybody works at one of the arenas in the Denver area, reach out to me. We'll uh we'll make it a very profitable Broncos season for you.
So, Brant, before we get into rapid fire, the question I wanted to open up with, but this has been such a good conversation, I haven't even got to it yet. Who's the biggest piece of shit you know?
My dad, pretty easy. My dad, by far. Um, yeah, he'll always be the biggest piece of shit. The weird thing is there's a couple of people in my life that are a piece of shit, but I don't even want to give them the satisfaction of knowing that they bother me that much, which is a kind of shitty answer that I wouldn't really want on the podcast. But luckily, I have my go-to, which is my lovely father that I still have not heard from in probably, I guess, 23 years now, which is great. Let's keep that streak going. But yeah, he's the
Nothing.
worst. And then other than that, I don't know, man. Wish I had a better. I should know that because it's coming, but my dad will still be the answer. Sometimes my retarded brother, sometimes my drunk mom, but they're just like occasionally. But consistent, it'll always be my dad.
You say you haven't seen or heard. Has anyone passed any?
No,
Nothing.
I
Silence.
used to get little updates from my mom. Had someone their paths crossed, and we thought he was up in like Tacoma. And then there was like a Facebook page made. There was no pictures of him, but I really stopped talking to my whole dad side of the family. So I used to talk to my uncle to try to just get an update, but my grandparents passed away. I didn't even know it's that bad. Where like I found out probably 2 years after the fact that both my grandparents have been gone. So they're just really not part of my life. But I heard my dad was either in Indiana, but I think he might be in Tacoma, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, part of me thinks he'll show up one more time, but honestly, I'll probably
after you get that Rogan bump.
Yeah, I was just gonna say once,
Knock, knock, knock.
yeah, which is weird too, because Rogan's got like a shitty dad.
Yeah.
He has this kind of a similar thing, I think, not as bad as mine, but I've always kind of thought like, oh, Joe, we'll be best friends, but I don't know. But I don't lift or smoke weed or have tattoos. Actually, we only might have one thing in common, that we have shitty dads. But yeah, I don't know where he's at, so
Okay.
I don't know if he'll. I have a feeling he won't try to come back. I don't know though. Maybe. I wish he would just like. I was thinking about this the other day. I wish he'd just like win Powerball and then out of guilt, just give me like the only way for me to ever be friends with him would be like 100 million. It really is that bad. People are like, you give him another chance. Like, no. If he came to me with like, if he won Powerball and gave me like 20 million, that's about it. Other than that, I'll just never talk to him. But hopefully, I'll never see him. Honestly, I just wish it would just be over. Which is weird. People are saying you might be careful what you wish for. Because I remember my ex, she had a bad dad that was in prison and wasn't really part of her life. And she said when he died, she didn't think it would bother her, but it did bother her a little bit. But I'm willing to find out. We'll take that chance. I really don't think it'll bother me at all, because I so rarely think about him even being in my life. It's like I used to date this girl way back, like my high school sweetheart, and I'm good friends with her and her husband and her kids. And then they're like, one day someone's like, "Is it weird hanging out with your ex?" I was like, "Oh, I don't even think of her as like an ex anymore. I dated her 25 years ago. I guess technically, I mean, she actually was like she was like my first real girlfriend, and that's how it is. Like, my dad's out there technically, but I don't ever like, I think of my stepdad more as my dad, and people don't, my ex was always trying to get me to go to therapy. And I was like, I don't really want to go to therapy because I think they'll just want to talk about my dad. And I don't ever really think about my dad. It's just so far gone. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll show up. Maybe someone will text me he died. Maybe he's dead. Who knows?
Shout out to Ron Huffendick.
Ronnie Huffendick still holding it down. He's a good dude. He's there when I need him.
How's Haley Huffendick doing?
Haley Huffendick's good. She's awesome, man. She's doing great. She's the one who never gets put on probation. She's just great. I never have to worry about her. She's the one family member I have. I don't. If anybody else calls, when I see it on caller ID, I'm always just like, okay, what happened? With that, I mean, it's always like, okay, I always answer 10 of it like, hello, what are we about to get into? And then most of the time they just want to say what's up. But with Haley, I never worry. She's crushing it.
Right on. Brent, one other thing, we just recently had Coach Terry Steiner. He's the United States women's freestyle wrestling coach. And we were talking about the growth of female wrestling in the United States over the last 10 years. And him being at the forefront of it, kind of watching it grow. And so I mentioned that women's, wrestling in the United States, women's wrestling is the fastest growing sport in America. And he responded, well, actually, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. So have you been playing? Where are we at with your pickleball?
Play every day. I rearranged my day to do this podcast. I usually play in the afternoon, so I went and played this morning. It is a complete addiction. I love it. I'm really good. I've gotten really good, which is weird to say. I never like say stuff like that. Like, I would never say I'm really good at comedy, but I also say I'm really good at pickleball because I play every day. So if I wasn't really good, I'm wasting my life. But I will say this: I've gotten to the point where I'm probably about as good as I can get, because without a full tennis background, I could never go, like, a lot of my friends are trying to go pro. They'll never make it pro. I shouldn't say that. I hope they do, but they probably won't. But I've gotten about as good as I can get, which is dominant. I mean, I beat most people, but I'll never make any money doing it. It's like comedy.
We just got to get you on some TRT. You'll be dominating even harder. Have you ever played at the courts over by the Cherry Creek Mall at that club?
Yeah, at Gates, yeah. So that's where I play a lot still. So
okay.
it's just a fun. it's a good social thing, and I've met a lot of friends, and it's just something I picked up during the pandemic, and then now it's just going to hang out with friends, and it's not that taxing on my body, and I just enjoy it. It's something you can get good at fast. That's the thing. Like people like you should golf. I was like, I suck at golf or all that shit. Pickleball, it costs no money. You just show up and play. So it's been a great outlet for me to get out of the house and do stuff because I never lift or I hate running. So it's kept me from being a little fatter than I already am.
So 2 questions. Have you ever taken a date to play pickleball, and or have you ever gotten a date from pickleball?
I've never taken a date. They've asked, but they're always beginners. I don't know. It would just be weird. I don't like to lose, so I mean, I don't know. But I have yeah, I've done pretty good at pickleball. It's hard though because it's still like it's probably 7-to-1 ratio. It's a lot more dudes than girls. And when a girl shows up, everyone fucking pounces on her. But I think I've maybe pulled maybe two. I guess probably one, two. Yeah, probably. I guess two this summer that were good little pickle flings. Nothing
All right.
serious. I don't know if I would want to like date some. That's kind of my escape. I just go there and play and act like an idiot and throw my paddle and do all kinds of dumb stuff and then go home. I luckily have comedy. I mean, I have an audience full of chicks every night, so I do pretty good just at shows.
Right on.
Luckily,
You play on the road?
yeah, it's been a good outlet because then I can invite people to the show, and then the road. The worst part of the road is just the loneliness and just sitting in a hotel doing nothing. And so pickleball has been great because it gets me out of the hotel and like being active and a lot of times on the road I'll go for walks. I like to take long walks, but now if I can find a pickleball court, that's great because I can just play the whole afternoon and then go home, take a nap, and jerk off once instead of just jerk off 7 times laying around a hotel room covered in pizza crumbs.
You gotta, you gotta do you gotta do some on the road pickleball stuff like Bert
I
does
know,
with the disc golf.
I know, I should do that actually. So that's a good idea. Yeah, make some more content.
So you got the Sopranos song for the
Yeah,
Mafia
that was
story,
great.
and you got pickleball content.
And I'm excited to do that Soprano song. I think that's a good idea. I never tell that story anymore, but well, that's the thing. If this special does good, then it might be like the machine story. Here's a question I'm saving for when I get on your mom's house because I think it would go super viral. Because when me and Tom were having dinner, I was like, "What do you think will happen first? Will Bert quit taking his shirt off, or will he quit telling the machine story?" And it like blew Tom's mind because at first he's like, well, he'd stop taking the shirt off, but then he's like, no, because that you get that pop of when the shirt comes off, they go crazy. Then they're like, well, you'd maybe stop telling the machine story, but then half the people go just to see the machine story. So me and Tom couldn't come up with like a betting favorite. In the end, we were just like, who knows? We'll probably do them both forever.
Well, here's a question too: is that if Bert were to get in shape like Tom, and he were to
Wouldn't be
change
funny
his
anymore.
body, would he then put a shirt on because he doesn't have that big belly to show
I
him?
don't know. I think he just loves the pop of that shirt coming off. Because you guys have seen him live, right?
No,
Um,
I haven't.
Oh,
he's coming to Greenville at the end of the month, I believe.
yeah. I mean, it's amazing because now he's so famous, but he'll come out Bert Kreischer, and you'll hear this huge roar. I mean, a huge roar, but then when that shirt comes off, it's just a whole nother roar. It's got to be like the biggest pop. I think it's the biggest pop there is in comedy, besides him starting that machine story. So I don't know how you get away from the adrenaline of like, you just get to hear a roar that's just like a different kind of roar, which gives me chills just thinking about it. I can't believe it. What it'd be like if that was my roar. I think I would want it forever. I wouldn't care how much people should, because that's the thing. I know I like Bert a lot, and I know he has like a huge heart, and he's gotten so famous. There's getting some like backlash, like you get when you get that famous, like that Kevin Hart or Dane Cook or some of these people been through. And I asked Tom that. I was like, I hope he's not reading his comments. He's like, no, we don't let him. I was like, good, because I mean, those comments hurt no matter how thick skin you are, but especially if there's just a ton of them. And I just think Bert's a sweetheart, and I would hate because you can have 100 good comments, but the only one I never read comments, and I am nowhere near these guys' level. But I learned that early because there can be 100 good comments, and there's just that one, and of course it's no picture and some dumb name, but you still can't get it out of your fucking head. Comments can be mean.
I was gonna say what we like to say over here is good or bad, you're still talking about me. So thanks for
Well,
keeping
yeah,
it
that's true.
relevant.
And I do live by that. I had my buddy one time, well, not a buddy, but he got in trouble. Uh, he was on the front of the newspaper for like having an affair on his wife, and I thought he's sad about it. He just looked at me. He's like, "Any press is good press," and he just walked out. I was like, "Damn, all right, that was pretty gangster." Yeah, I'm with you on that, but then there's sometimes like one time. I guess there's just one time when I read one, I was like, God, that one stung a little extra.
I will say he's probably the most polarizing comedian out there, because anytime Rich and I are talking to people and we're asking about comedy, it like everyone is like, but that Bert Kreischer guy, fuck him. I fucking hate him. And like for me, I've been listening to him since he was on Rogan the first time he told the machine story.
Yeah,
And to me, all those old school dudes that were on there, they're like, like your Uncle Joey, right? It's
yeah,
just like someone you feel connected to, even though you've never met him. So I like Bert. I'm not like a diehard, but like I appreciate him. I think it's awesome how famous he's got. I don't understand why people are just like, nah, fuck that
yeah.
guy.
I'm with you, man. They're like, well, his jokes aren't that good. I go, well, it's a party now. It's a different. He's not a tell. He's putting on a show. He's a showman now more than a. I mean, he's still a comedian, obviously, but and no one ever thought he was like the best joke writer. He would be the first one to say, he's not like a fucking lyrical genius. He's the machine.
You gotta laugh like Sickler too. His laugh is
Yeah,
contagious.
I know. Well, some people hate Sickler's laugh, which is like sometimes when I
Oh,
do the
dude.
piece or something, someone be like, "What's up with that host laugh?" I was like, "Oh, you mean that's his laugh? He just it's weird that people get mad at a laugh."
I mean, his laugh just makes me laugh
Yeah, I
sometimes.
know. I'm with you. I love it.
So Brant, are you a coffee drinker?
No,
No.
not for any reason other than I just never have. Like I never drink coffee. I mean I've had it occasionally. Just like you know what? Whenever I have to get coffee, I just go to the counter. If I'm with someone that's making me get coffee, no one makes me, but if I'm just getting coffee, I'll just say, "Give me what like a 8-year-old would want," and then they'll give me some. They'll say whipped cream or not. I say whipped cream, well, duh, and then I get some like. But I don't think that's real coffee. I don't know what it is. It's more like a milkshake. But it's weird. I love coffee ice cream. I probably like coffee. I just never. My parents didn't drink it. I got worse habits from my parents. My parents would wake up and drink like a Pepsi and smoke a cigarette. Luckily, I never smoked a cigarette, but I used to be like, I would wake up and go to like Mini Mart and get like a cherry Coke and donuts. That's how I'd start my day, which is not not very good idea.
So, other than pickleball, do you have any daily practices or rituals that you do on a regular basis to show up as the strongest version of Brandt Tobler?
Um, no, I don't know. I might take a walk every day. I really try to. Well, I don't have a car. It's funny. Like I'm an avid walker, but part of that. But part of the reason I don't have a car is I just don't want to have a car, which is another great Ari thing. Is like not having a car is great until you have to tell a girl. But everything, my whole world is like right here, so I walk. But no, I mean, I take my daily walks. Like tonight, I'll walk to the show. Well, actually, I'll walk to the train. But no, it's just pickleball walk. That's about it.
Right on.
I should do more.
What are you listening to right now? Music, podcasts, audiobooks? Are you reading anything?
I'm listening to I'm not reading anything. I listen to a ton of podcasts. Listen to a lot of football stuff now that sports has started. I listen to every Rogan. I really love Rogan because I learn a lot. And I'm not a big UFC guy, so those are the only ones I still kind of listen to those, but I listen to a lot of Rogan. I like Theo. I've been listening to a lot of Theo. He makes me laugh. I've been listening to Bill Simmons, a lot of football stuff. I was listening to a lot of fantasy football stuff for my nerd draft and my nerd teams I love. Then music wise, I've been listening to what do I listen to? I listen to a lot of like country. I've been listening to a lot of country and then just old school gangster rap. I'm either like crying over a country song or like ready to murder my neighborhood. I don't listen to a lot of new. I have a playlist that I just listen to on repeat. You know what I listen to a lot actually is I have a playlist on my YouTube channel. I love acoustic covers. So I love hearing people I like sing other people's songs. So that's what when I write, I put that on and just listen to it over and over. But I listen to mostly podcasts and then try to go to as much live music as I can.
What's the last live music you went to?
I went to the 50 years of hip hop the other night at Ball Arena, which was like LL Cool J, Big Boy from Outkast, Slick Rick Ross. So it was great. And then I went and saw Chancey and they did a show in Laramie, so I went and saw them. And I saw them. I saw LL. Who else did I see? Oh, I went to Red Rocks and saw Nathaniel Rateliff, which was great. That's about it right now. I went to a bunch during Frontier Days. I saw all the like 6 nights of country and then one Five Finger Death Punch concert.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Right on.
So yeah, that's been the summer mix. Not much else really.
All right. Last one for you, Brandt. Do you have a guilty pleasure or guilty pleasures?
Oh man. My guilty pleasure. What would my guilty pleasure be? I don't know. I'll say this.
Red Bull and vodka?
This is a guilty pleasure because it brings me great pleasure and I'm very guilty when I do it. But this is so embarrassing that I do this, but I just love like stealing shit from 7-Eleven. And 2 nights ago, I just got wasted with the comics and I was walking home and I was hungry. And I was like, man, I'm gonna jack this 7-Eleven by my house. And it's like a hood 7-Eleven. People get killed there and shit. I didn't think anything of it, right? So I walk in, it's about 3 a.m, right? There's a lot of traffic, which is it's just one of those 7-Elevens always cracking no matter what. I walk in, there's like a kind of hot security guard, which is weird too, because she couldn't stop anybody. And I was like, hey, and I said what's up to her because when I'm drunk, I'm like super talkative. I said what's up to the front desk girl or the cashier, I mean, and then I was like, I'm gonna jack some. I think I'm gonna get some burritos. So I went to the like cooler, and I grabbed 2 fucking burritos. I put them in my hoodie pouch, and I like Score bars. And I took like 9 Score bars. I put them in my pouch, and then I buy like 4 of the Gatorade electrolytes because I'd like to drink those in the morning to like recoup. So I go up to the counter and I put the shit down, and then the girl's like, "Hey, you got some stuff in your pouch?" I was like, "No, I don't." She like points at the cameras. She's like, "I think you need to take some of that stuff out of your pouch." And I don't even know why I said this. I just go, "I'm a comedian at Comedy Works." Like that was an answer or something. And she goes, "But it looks like you have stuff in your pouch." And I was like, "No, I don't." And then she goes, "You can never come here ever again." And I was like, "Okay." And then I just walked out with my Gator. I paid for the Gatorades, and then the cashier didn't just bag them up, took my money, and then she was like, "You can never ever come here again." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair." And then I just walked home and ate a burrito in the Score bar. So it was my pleasure, and I was guilty. I usually never get in trouble, but I don't know what it is. I just like dumb shit, man. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why I do that. Again, I'm 45 years old. Why am I stealing shit from a 7-Eleven? I just like the rush.
Rush.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never done a drug. I could do worse things, but it's also just like, I mean, I can always like, who cares? Someone makes $1 billion, everything's, I can rationalize it in my head. And then I'm also like, if someone's listening to this, like, bro, what's wrong with you, man? You're 45 years old. All you ever talk about is wanting to be a dad. No wonder God hasn't let you be a dad. You're a fucking degenerate asshole that's stealing score bars from fucking. But I like scores. I got a bunch of score bars in the fridge, and I'm pretty happy about.
Pretty good.
But yeah, that's it. And then other than that, like, I don't know. It used to be like when I had a girlfriend, it would be like 90 Day Fiance was always a guilty pleasure. Like shitty reality TV is something I always love. But whenever I have a girlfriend, I like shit like that. But other than that, I don't really do. That's my only guilty pleasure is being a jack off and stealing from 7-Elevens, which I'm going to try not to do. And put myself on 7-Eleven probation.
Good move. Good move.
We'll see.
Is that the 7-Eleven on the 16th Street Mall?
No, but that one's pretty. This one's over like in 5 Points where I live. It's shady as fuck, but yeah, I never thought they would. I mean, I thought it was just known that people. I thought I was doing good by paying for half of my shit. Because anytime I'm in there, I just see people walk in and walk out. It's like, did everybody forget their wallet? Or I don't know. If you're a cashier, you're just like, why would you just walk in? There's no bathrooms or anything. It's that ghetto. They don't let people go to the bathroom. But I thought I was doing good. I was like, I'll pay for half this and I'll still get my little excitement. But then that happened to me another time, way back when. Again, it's like what sucks when you're old and then young people do it to you. One time I was like, I put some beef jerky in my back pocket, and then I bought like a cherry Coke and a Snickers, and I went up to the counter, and this kid's probably like 23, I'm probably like 38. He's like, boop, boop, and then those 2 beef jerkies in your back pocket. I was like, oh yeah, man, my bad, I forgot. And I was just like, God, this kid just punked me. I'm such a loser. But then I still do it. I just like the rush, I guess. I guess it's better than doing heroin or something like my dad and all my other relatives would do. They did really bad stuff. I just sneak in, and I think mine are like harmless crimes.
I like it,
Nobody
Brandt.
gets hurt.
Yeah, we still love you, Brandt.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, boys.
Brandt, where can everyone find you? Where should we direct them?
You can find me mostly on Instagram, just at Brandt Tobler, and then I'm really trying to get my numbers up on YouTube. So it's just Brandt Tobler Comedy. Just search Brandt Tobler on YouTube. The podcast is there. I've been putting up a bunch of clips. The special will be there. Just trying to get I need more hours to get monetized, because then when I get monetized, I'm going to try to do like a live, the Craigslist KS I used to do. I'm going to do live where people can come in the chats and we can set up a store. I think it'll be really fun, but I'm trying to get monetized. So go to my, what I would like the most to the listeners, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, and then watch a few videos. Or if you're leaving work at night, just put my channel on play all or something, let it run through the night, because I'm just really trying to get my view hours up so I can try to make some money on YouTube. So I'm trying to, and the special will be on there, and the special will be released. Each story will be released. So I filmed the story, and then I'm doing a aftermath of the story. So there's a little interview section after every story saying what happened after, because people are always like, what happened at Killers, or what happened? So there's a little. So I'm gonna release the stories individually and then the special. So just go watch my stuff and share it. Or so I say to anybody you like, just share their stuff. It's free. Like, comment, subscribe. It costs you no money, and it helps us creators more than you know. So I like shit all the time. People go, it seems like you like everything on Facebook. I go, yeah, because it's free, and most of the time people are putting stuff that's cool. So it costs me nothing. Just hit the like. So yeah, like, subscribe. If you find some of my stand up funny, share it with your friends. That's all I ask. And that's it. Oh, you can go buy my book. My book's available free roll on Amazon, or if you want to reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I'll sign whatever you want and send one to you if you want. But yeah, my book is I'm very proud of it, and I think it's awesome. So if you're looking for a good book, it's good.
And if you like Brandt's sultry voice, he does the audio on Audible too. So check that out as well.
Perfect. Thank
you.
You guys better at this than me.
Brandt, you are the man, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for always coming through in the clutch, and thank you for just being so epic.
Always enjoy talking to you guys. I'll do it anytime, man. Glad you guys are doing good, and hopefully I'll get out east at some point and see you guys and go have lunch or something. So thanks
Yeah,
for having me
definitely.
on. I always enjoy it, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Brent. Good luck tonight.
All right, see you boys.
Break a leg.